And then
I like
eventually
it.
we get to a topic.
I like it.
All right. Awesome. I'm glad you do. Uh, hopefully
I
everyone
like
else will.
I'm like, we'll figure it out as we go and see what happens.
Nice. All right. All right. Let's start it off. What? Or I should probably start recording.
Should I mute
Wait.
my mic until
No, you're good.
okay.
You're good. You're good. Wait.
Okay.
Oh, I am recording. What's up, everybody? Bad Gamer popping back in. How you doing? How's it going? How you mama? How you daddy? How them kids? How them wives? How them hubbies? How them fur babies? How is it that 6 months ago I had no idea who this amazing young lady was or is? And like 3-4 months ago, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe 4 months ago, I have a new sister. Guys, we're talking to Cozy Valkryie today. Oh, don't forget the XOXO.
Yes. Hello,
Hey,
hello.
how are you?
I am doing really, really well. I'm excited. I have all the same feelings as you. I can't believe we didn't know each other and now it feels like we've known each other forever.
Like we
So,
we we obviously were in high school together.
obviously.
I mean, there's like several decades between us, but we were obviously in high school together.
It is a great thing that we Dreamlight Valley brought us together because
Yes.
it has been a very fulfilling friendship on my streaming journey particularly. So I am very grateful to be here.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, if you don't know, we're about to find out. Cozy, Valkyrie, Gabby, Squirrel Sis. Uh, what should people know about you? What are the 3 things that if people are going to be invited into your life, or you're going to be invited into their lives, either way, vice versa? What are 3 things that they should know about you?
Wow, three? That's a lot. I am a friend, I am a mother, and I am a gamer girl. They should know all three of those things, and they all coexist and flow into my streaming personality and who I am as a gamer and as a person. And I enjoy making friends. I'm a chatty catty. And so, if anybody's gonna
Certified.
hang around,
What do you?
certified
You
yapper,
certified yapper, y'all.
as my friends have decided to bestow that title upon me. Yes,
Certification, and masters in yapperining.
yes. I
uh,
am very much an introvert, but once I get to know people a little bit, which is odd,
I
juxtaposed against streaming,
find that so hard to believe.
I am. I'm a little bit gaming helps to bring out like the conversation and the yapper side of me. But like IRL, I'm a very introverted person until it takes only a little bit to warm up to, but I am I'm shy until
Would you say
uh,
okay? So you're an introverted. You're an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert?
I am a introverted extrovert, I guess,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
extra. I don't know. Oh, well, that's interesting. Uh, I'm like, okay, I'm shy, but I want people to talk to me so I can let it out. Whatever that
Okay.
is
You are
what
an
I am.
introverted extrovert because you gain. Because I was gonna say, hold on. I don't think being around people or having conversations with people, I don't think that drains you.
Mm-mm, it doesn't.
That gives you life. That gives you energy. From what I understand.
I enjoy talking to people, connecting, finding things that give us, especially nowadays, finding things that bring us to a common place. Yes, it does. It
Yes.
does not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I you said quite a few things earlier, and one of the things that I love about being in your streams is that while you don't invite your family in, you don't always just immediately kick them out. Like part of your stream is your kids busting in on you.
Yeah.
Tell us
It
about that. Tell us about that.
well, it's one of those things where if I'm going to do it, I kind of have to embrace the chaos because I won't be able to stream or I'll be on stream very anxious and nervous and stressed because I'm trying to like keep out a part of my life that really truly at this point in life, they are, I'm a mother to young children, so they are like the center of most of the stuff that I do. And so it's a little bit easier to just kind of embrace it. And yes, they will be, if you come into the stream, the likelihood of seeing a child or a preteen is high, and they are not afraid to um talk
They
or
are.
tell us their business or talk to chat or ask for some input somewhere. So it has definitely helped to just embrace the fact that that could happen. I don't have like a separate gaming room slash office, like from a space where they're able to be at. So, it's just, hey, there's going to be kids and, they're crazy.
Yeah, your son comes in and says the wildest stuff.
He's wild. He's a preteen. So yeah, he's got a little bit of an opinion, but
I love it when he comes in though. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my son.
yes, he is. He keeps me young but the other thing is I'm teaching him about being kind and all of that other stuff.
Yeah,
So he's learning.
as a
He's a
good
good
mom
kid. He's
would.
good. Yes, I'm trying. This
Yes.
is my first time on the earth too. I tell them all the time, this is my first time living. Have some grace with me, please.
I love that. Look, guys, this is my first time being on the planet too. I've been here for
Yeah,
a little bit longer than you.
just a little bit longer. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Is that something that your parents said to you, or did you just come up with that for yourself?
I kind of came up with that for myself. My parents didn't they didn't parent the same way that I parent. We'll put it right there.
Oh,
But
I think we
yeah,
had
they
the
don't.
same parents.
Yeah, it's a different generation of parenting, and but no, it that really came from I did a lot of work with trying to not feel as I am a professional also. I have a full-time job, so like the parenting and motherhood guilt and a lot of the things that come along with being a somebody who works outside of the home, because every parent works whether you're at home full-time or you're out in the world full-time.
Yeah.
I'm a parent who works out of the house, and so a lot of the guilt with that. So I had to start telling myself, Girl, this is your first time here too. It's okay. You're gonna make mistakes and have some grace with yourself. And then with with children, I know this is not like a parenting podcast,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna say it.
Hey,
Like
look, it's part of it.
with children, a lot of times they need to know, like they don't know that you're having these feelings, and it's not their responsibility to deal with those feelings, but you have to share, what you're going through in your perspective. And so that was just my easy way of coming up with like, hey, have some grace for me. All right. I'm figuring it out the same way that you guys are. I'm figuring out who I am, and I'm in my mid 30s. And so
What was it? Ancient millennial? What was it called?
an elder millennial.
Elder
Oh my gosh.
millennial.
Peachy will hurt us if she hears us say that. So yeah, so I tell them all the time, especially with oh well, hold on a second. My son is having an outburst. Hold on.
Okay, so what I don't think she knows that we don't edit these. So we're just gonna let it go.
Yeah. If people heard the outburst, there you go. There's the confirmation that there is, chaos always around. But yeah. So
uh, so I mean, well, I find that in your streams and in your Discord there is definitely a maternal feel, or at even if it's not maternal, it's that big sister take care of you feel.
yes.
Do you have you always are you a big sister? Is that have you just had that role, or did that come?
I I am a middle child, older sister. So like I have an older sister and then I have younger siblings, and I think it's more of the it is kind of a maternal feeling, but it's more of a wanting people to feel safe. So like one of my favorite streamers, their name is Planet Kenya, and her philosophy around what she's trying to create is like you can't designate yourself a safe space. People have to decide that for themselves, that they feel
Ooh.
safe there and that they are able to be their whole selves in that space. So you could say it all day long. This is a safe space for you to be who you want to be, or this is a safe space for X, Y, and Z type of person, but you don't get to award yourself that title, right? People, it's you
Ooh.
don't make that. So my goal is to create a space where I can be myself and know that if somebody welcomed me in the way that I am being, I know that I would be able to bring my full self to that space. So that is what I try to put out there. And you know, what you put out in the world is what you're going to get back. And I feel like I've been rewarded for having that type of attitude because it's brought about people who I think share the same, we don't all share necessarily the same um values or like political views or anything like that, but we share the same like ethic code of treating people kindly and leaving space for people to share how, oops, I think my computer may have just went off.
You're still here.
Oh,
We got you.
okay, cool. It just went dark for no reason. But so yeah, so that's where the ethos of like what I'm doing when I'm on stream and when I'm in the Discord is like I want people to have a safe space, but I just know that that's not my, you know, I can't just claim that. So I'm putting in the energy that I would want to see from somebody else. And I think it's working out pretty well. I think people feel welcome and able to, you know, be there when they want to be there or not be there and show who they
Yeah.
are and say what they need to say and, you know, so
That's
it's been
absolutely
nice.
some wisdom. You do not get to designate yourself as a safe space. And I gotta say that I when I join in the when I've joined in the cozy sphere, um I was, and we've had this discussion, I was concerned that I would be considered disingenuous.
Mhm.
Um just by being who I am, I've learned that where you know, I'm a cozy bruv. I didn't realize
Yeah.
this. Um, our cozy Valk fams, as I call them, the Coz Vengers, uh, have been calling me the cozy bro.
Yes,
And I'm
very
like,
much an earned title and you deserve.
I like, but that's, to me that sounds just because of, you know, bro, you know that. But then as we were talking about this, I realized what I was concerned about was being a cozy bruh.
Yes. Okay, yeah, because there's a difference.
Yes. So I was calling myself a cozy bro because in the conversations that I have with my friends, and I got that term bruv from my friend Gabe Patillo, passed away last year. Amazing. Like, this guy taught me so much about loving others just by loving others.
Mm,
Loved love that guy. And in the podcast Married to the Games, with Ed Placencia and Tim Router, Chris McCracken, those guys, that whole community, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what, if I am to do something, this is what I want. And my concern was the cozy space is really, it's really dominated by a lot of ladies.
yeah.
Right, it's definitely dominated by a lot of ladies, and me coming in, like, already, well, we're going to talk about some of that later, but already that's just a space that I need to be cautious about putting my toe into,
Yeah.
because that's, to me, that's the predominantly ladies spot. I'm not to take, I don't want to take away from that, right? I'm here to be a part of that community. And
And I oh,
I,
go ahead.
I just think that, I think there's people that are disingenuous in in that space, and I don't want to be associated with that.
And I think the fact that you're aware, right? Because a lot of, I mean, it's Women's History Month right now too. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things. but a lot of times, and not to say that like the cozy gaming space is for women, but it was, pioneered very recently, even as a genre for cozy gaming, like in the awards and all that. That's all very recent, right? And
Yeah.
led by women streamers like Cozy Games Kennedy, a fellow law sister for me, and all of that good stuff. And so women oftentimes, or people who present themselves as female, oftentimes want for men to acknowledge those things that you're acknowledging right before. It's the fact that you are able to think those things through before you step into the space. I think it makes it easier for people to be accepting, because you're not just like kicking the door like, oh, look what I discovered. There's all these cozy games with all these people who want to hear somebody, who knows how to get through these games, and you didn't like kick in the door and say all of that. And for me, part of like I very, very clearly remember the first time we met on my stream, because another thing that is very important to me is that I'm not going to judge somebody immediately, right? Immediately when they come in off of anything that they say, there's going to be an opportunity for you. I mean, unless, somebody is just blatantly being crazy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's always going to be an opportunity, to express, and it's felt very genuine. Like, you came in and asked about the game, and I was like, I don't even know, you said something about like making the money, or what's like what you enjoy the most about the game.
Yeah.
And for me, and we'll probably talk about this, but I am so gaming is not something that I was like, I've been gaming since I was 6, and I've been doing all this stuff and cozy gaming, da da. I started gaming 2 years ago, very specifically to address a mental health issue that I was having and needing to find a space to let that out. So like the stream is very much a cozy yap fest, but if people who come in and like want to talk about the game, I'm like, yes, let's talk about it, because I love this game so much, Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah.
And like, you came in very genuine and very, um, you know, and we connected, and then you were like, well, whenever you come in over and follow, which you don't have to do, I'll give you a, I'll give you a follow song, da da da. And I clicked off, and I'll tell you, Lim, oftentimes I click off a stream, and like I've tried to be better at it recently, of like going back and seeing like if somebody's been talking a lot, like checking out their page and making sure I follow them and making sure I'm supportive
Yeah.
of them as well. At that time, I was not doing that so much. So I clicked off, and then I went on with my life, and then I was like, I kind of remember somebody coming by and saying something about them streaming, and I'm pretty sure that their avatar was a black person. And I was like, wait, let me go see, because as we've talked about, and as most people know, the community of people of color, and particularly black people streamers, is, I'm not going to say small, because I'm not going to speak that into the community. There's
Right.
the streamers are strong. They have what it takes to build large communities. It's just, once you find them, you're hopeful that it's somebody that you can relate to. It's somebody
Yes.
that you can support. It's somebody that you can share with other people and lift each other up. And so that was in the back of my mind, and I was like, let me go back over here and double check on this person and make sure. And I followed, and then, and then there was history, and ever since.
She showed up. I was like, oh, stop. She actually showed up.
But I do think it's important, like the cozy space, it is, like you said, it's dominated by women. The internet is a scary place still in
Yes.
2025. And so to be cognizant of that, and to be aware of it, and to, take caution with how you approach it, because no matter what you enjoy about streaming, there is strategy to it all the time. So, and for me, that's genuine, and that's why I'm like, every freaking day I'm like, guys, Liv is here, thank goodness, everybody go say hi to Liv, because you're such a bright light in the community. And it's, for me, it's very exciting for all of us to just find each other, lift each other up, and just do what we have to do.
What I have seen in your chats is a family that keeps growing. It is
It feels very family
it
like.
is like I just met Nana Kiwi maybe a month ago, maybe a month ago,
Love
and
that lady.
we are having and it's on your stream, and we are having off-stream conversations. We relate on a lot of different levels, and we're having these off-stream conversations. And she sent me a message today that was so uplifting and helpful, and that's because that's the community you are building. That is that's the lifestyle, the vibe, the that's what you want it to be.
I
And
need it to be that.
tell me about that. Like tell me about that needing it to be that way.
It's very much, it's, I need it to be that way because the space and the time that I use gaming and interacting with other people is healing for me. Like I said, it's it getting on Dreamlight Valley in 2020 whatever 23 whatever. No, 2022, I
Yeah,
think.
2022 September.
Um
I think it was September 2022 was the
yeah.
first launch.
I was looking to gaming as a way to help with my anxiety, as a way to, I wasn't looking for friends and I wasn't looking to game with other people. I was trying to manage my mental health in a way that felt like it also built something for me because that's my personality. I'm very much like I want to put something in and get something out of it. And so
Yeah.
like gaming, like Dreamlight Valley for me felt like I was so immersed in that game for so long. Like I was in that game. But so stepping out to start streaming, sorry, there's an airplane like literally landing on top of my house right now and going by. um, it's probably very loud. But stepping out to stream, I just wanted to, and not that those communities don't already exist. There are great streamers with great communities that are welcoming and wholesome. Um, but I found an extra like joy in gaming once I realized that like I can combine playing a game that I enjoy and meeting people who have who are who are kind people who you know enjoy the same things that I enjoy. And for me to show up to stream, I need to know that people are enjoying themselves and that they're happy and that it's giving them something that helps them heal whatever they're trying to heal and
Mm.
um that they know, and it's the gaming that I do is not like some like world class like life changing like I figured out this mechanic of the game before anybody else did. People are not there to like find out the best way to accomplish X, Y, and Z in a game. And that's okay for me because again,
Yeah.
this is a hobby for me and I have a full-time job, but it's a hobby that means a lot to me. So when I say that I need it to be a place where people can love on each other, where people can trust each other, and it's the internet, right? So again, there's always that boundary of, it's there's always a boundary there.
Yeah.
But I want people to be as comfortable as they can be, and people like Nana Kiwi and Peachy and Sapphire, who I stole from your community, who's still in your community, but is very much somebody that I really really enjoy having around.
Yes.
Um, and just the small but mighty people who the thing that I need the most, and this is my long way of saying it, is people who are able to speak life into what I'm doing, and I can speak
Yes.
that back into what they're doing, streaming, real life, whatever it goes. Because um, I am very aware and very weary of the energy that I give to other people. I can feel people's energies in their streams, and so
Mm.
I need it to be a place where people are welcome. And if it's only if that means that there's 5 people who feel like they can be themselves there for the next 10 years, that has fulfilled the reason my my reason for switching on the computer. And
Yes.
and I'm glad that I decided to stream at this time in my life because I have very firm boundaries for my mental, physical, emotional health. And so when I know that it's not okay for me right now and that I don't have the space to be the person that people expect of me on stream, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Old Gabby would have pushed herself to
Mm.
the limit and would have been like, "Oh my gosh, there are 10 people who are expecting you to be on stream on Monday at 4:30. Girl, you got to turn on the computer. And I would have run myself ragged. Now I'm just like, I love them. I'm happy to hang out. But if I don't have the mental, emotional fortitude to do it, it's not going to be great for us. It's not about the game. The games matter. People find you because of the game, especially on Twitch, because the findability or whatever the word is on Twitch is so low. Discoverability.
The
Oh, I can't get
discoverability.
a
Yeah.
word. But the game is just a tool. The game
Yeah.
that you're playing is just for the type of streamer that I am, right? So it's different for everybody, but the game is just a tool for people to find a common place. Again, this is humanity we're talking about. A common place to come together and say, "Oh, I like that villager in Animal Crossing. Oh, by the way." And then we just talk until we can't talk anymore, and then we're all happy and safe and
Yeah.
enjoying ourselves.
Yeah. I've learned a lot from you in that manner. Of the like, I recently started doing this. Not just say recently, but there have been days when I just can't do it, or if I'm going to be late, because my body said no, you're not getting up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can put that in Discord. Now, in the past, the community that I've had in the past, the vibe, the culture of the community was razz Lem for being late.
Right. Yeah.
That was the culture of the community. It was a lot of mostly lighthearted, sometimes a little too far trolling that was going on. And then one
Mm.
day, and I know the folks have heard this before, but one day we said, just no, we're not doing it anymore. And I needed it for my mental health,
Yeah.
my self worth,
Yep.
um, because I know who I am, and I know
Yep.
that I take what folks say very seriously, because I also know that I have blinders, and sometimes it's the me show,
Yeah.
right? And I'm very aware of that. So I am when someone says something, I'm like, okay, Lem, pay attention to that, because remember, it's not always the Lem show, and I
Mm.
have this conversation in my head, um, but we started to say we're going to be more uplifting, we're going to be welcoming, we're going to be the folks that if there's something that needs to be addressed, we will address it, but we're not going to drag people on it,
Yeah.
you know? But mostly we're going to look for how can we lift our friends up? How can we celebrate with them? How can we cry with them when they need us to cry with them? How can we give them a hug? People that I meet in person say I hug in all caps. you know
Love that.
um, but when they need that hug, that when I can't physically give them the hug, how can we do that? And I'm learning so much from you on how
Aw.
to do that, and I really
Well,
appreciate it.
that makes me extremely happy because I mean, and I say all this all the time too, was like it finding people where the give and take is equal, right? Like you're giving this, and because I give a lot of energy in even
Yeah,
the smallest interactions. I'm like thinking about the context and the way that this person feels and the way that I'm expressing myself. And so having that reciprocated. So I'm saying that to say, like, I'm glad that I'm helping you get to that point of understanding yourself that way. And you've given me a lot of things to think about and learn and on my streaming journey. And I said this all the time is like, we need community in everything that we do. And
absolutely.
finding people who like you've been streaming forever and so you have wisdom about things that are helpful. Your community has been around forever, so learning about how you manage through some of the things that happen over there and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
But it brings me a lot of joy to know that you're shifting in the way that you think about how you show up, especially when it impacts the way you feel in your body. I take things people say very personally as well, like you said.
yeah,
And so the lighthearted trolling and all of that stuff, I would probably never even have been able to let people do that because I would have known that they were lighthearted about it but it would have impacted me and would have and I think the fact that it has, not that it's necessarily negative that it did, right? You guys built up the culture that you built up in your stream, and it's just a matter of you're going to readjust because you know that it's not okay for you, and that's
Right.
fine. um and so being able to make that shift, being aware, and we spend so much time with on streaming, talking to people in Discord and all that stuff. It has to be the type of energy that is only going to give you something good back. So
Right, because it's not
yeah,
just when you're on stream.
right.
It's because we are building functional communities. It's not just a game community or a gaming community. We are look, I worked for for an organization, and this is the phrase that we've been using. We are sharing life together,
Yes.
right? And I remember, this is just a little bit ago, but I remember we set out on a Sunday. We were like, hey, once a month, let's sit down on a Sunday and just peer review, peer talk about stream stuff. And we said,
Mhm.
yeah, we'd be like 30 minutes, an hour tops. 4 hours later,
4 hours later.
we are still sitting here. We're like, man, I'm hungry. Why am I? What do you mean 4 hours?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And I noticed that, and you've done this in your community in particular. I think it started last month. You've opened up to your community for discussions like that.
Yeah.
Like, tell us a little bit about what brought that on.
I want people to, so I know there's like a little bit of taboo with in some spaces and some not so much in other spaces with like talking about your journey into becoming a content creator or streaming and all of that good stuff. And I know that there could potentially be a point where somebody says or does something that crosses the line of like, okay, you're doing too much, just you got to calm down. But I want to give people the opportunity as I'm learning, right? Somebody lifts you up, you lift the next person up
Yeah.
coming with you. That's the only way we're going to get anywhere. That even the smallest things that I think are like insignificant that I've discovered or figured out or learned about, streaming or some of these tools that we use or some of the people that we've met, that is information which is valuable to other people who are on their streaming journey. And I believe that people are going to do the right thing, right? So I leave space in my Discord and in my chat for people to self promote because I believe that people are going to do the right thing. And if they don't, then that'll be addressed, in that manner. And if there's something that I have to learn from that and kind of readjust, then we'll go about it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to just try to be able to share. I learn while I'm sharing that stuff, and people bring up comments and say things, and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And people who aren't interested in streaming, right? The feedback. Okay, so in January, you were like, "Where's the Discord that you said you were going to make?" And I was like, not me being held accountable, not me being held accountable, but like you said, it very much is. I knew as soon as that Discord was started that what happens in stream now it's 24/7, right? It's not just on stream, it's the conversations that happen in Discord, it's the people being there. And so I was super protective of that and trying to make sure that I was ready, right? Not that there was going to be this flood of 20,000 people into the Discord, but it doesn't matter. All it takes is one or two people to
Yes.
have an interaction that's not pleasant, or for them to be feel not safe, and I'm going to spiral, and it's going to be like we got to figure this out. um but on the back to what you initially asked about people being able to come in and have those conversations, it's self-gratifying for me. I'm a Leo, so that people can get some context. Leos are we are very selfish in a loving way. Some of us are not so much, but we do a lot of things. We do a lot of things that are self-rewarding. And if you take the time, the grown-up Leos, the 30 and 40 and 50-year-old Leos who have taken the time to become self-aware, you realize that some of the things that you're doing out of selfishness can certainly be used to help others. And so selfishly, I'm building up this community because I enjoy streaming. I enjoy talking to other people. But the things that I'm learning while I'm doing it are important to other people. So I'm going to share it with them. And like I said, if I think people are going to do the right thing,
Yeah.
and if they don't, and they do too many 1 2 1 2s, we'll just talk about it. We'll just talk about it because you shouldn't have to. I feel like the people who hang out in the chat, if you come in there and say that you're doing something or you have, you're streaming or X, Y, and Z, they go check.
Yeah.
They go check to see, what's up over there. And it's on you if you have enough going on for them to be interested. But that all goes around to me learning about rating people too. Like
Yes.
there's a science to it, and I even if there's only 1 or 2 people in the chat, you're getting rated to somebody else because that's how we make new friends. That's how
Yes.
you show support to somebody that you've just met recently. There's an art to it, and as much as I would love to just raid, the next person over that I love, there's thought about it, and oh, I hung out over here the other day, maybe we'll send them over there and see how it goes. And I'm adventurous with my rating, as you guys know, so sometimes it gets a little crazy. um,
I'll admit,
but
there's
again,
sometimes I'll go over in your raid. I'll say a couple words and be like, "Yeah, I shouldn't be
yeah,
here."
yeah, let me go. But yeah, it's just all learning, and that all comes from, again, being out in the world. The same things that I do in my professional career, I do over here, and as a literal IRL sister and mother and woman and person in the world who's trying to make sure that I get somewhere and other people get somewhere. Those same skill sets that you develop out in the world, you can bring over here to streaming, and it's very nice. It's nice.
you know, I love that we're able to have this kind of conversation. We you and I sometimes will have conversations that I might not have with other people,
Hmm.
um, because we share some commonalities, and we talked about it briefly in at the beginning. Uh, you live in a region where a lot of my family lives. you know and like I hear some of the things that you say, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was my parents, or that's my brother, that's
Yeah.
those are my cousins, or my cousins chat. And when I say cousins chat, you probably have a cousins chat or something like
Yeah.
it, or a family chat, right? And I want to bring you on because there are pieces that, while we have some similarities, that I can't speak to, and some that I can. Um, and when did you start your streaming adventure?
Um, I started taking it seriously in October last year, but I streamed for the first time February of last year. And so we did February and March. I got like an affiliate very quickly. I didn't realize that it took what it took. I just got affiliate and I was like, oh shoot, okay. And then life happened, blah 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 blah. And then October came back around this year or last year, and I said, okay, well, I will get back to it because it was last year was an interesting year for a lot of people, and I felt like being able to be there. And I have had people who have come back by and through the chat and in the Discord and through DMs and said, I'm glad that you were just somewhere that I could sit and hang out
Mm,
during, these times. And
yeah,
so, and all of that is super important to me. Like you said, I take it very seriously as a woman of color, as a black woman, as um, a person who's raising black children in America,
yeah,
my responsibility to, um, you know, address some of the things that go on, and also to remember that sometimes it's not always the place to have the most in-depth conversation about that because a lot of things
mm,
get lost in context, and this is
yes,
something that I've had to learn very recent. So there was a time at the end of last year where there were a few folks. It was literally like 5 of us on the stream, and we were having a day. And it was one of those days where, you know, you just, depending on how you view things, it could have been a very heavy day. And so we just were there like, okay, I'm just glad that there's other people around who feel the same way I do, and we'll play Dreamlight Valley, but we can talk about stuff. And
Yeah.
and so I like turned my little raid thing off so people couldn't raid me, and I turned off to follower only just for that one day, just so we could have those conversations.
Yeah.
And then when I got out of that, in the real world, having hard conversations about what's going on in the world, sitting around the table talking about it, you have to do that to effectuate change.
Yes.
In the streaming community, it's a thin line between being a just for lack of better words, just an angry Black person on the internet when
Yeah.
things are happening,
Yeah.
and being effective, right? So there are spaces to have those conversations. I want my stream to be a place where people can express how they feel based on the experiences that they're having.
Mm.
But I'm learning the best way to manage that, because I don't want it to become a spiral. I don't want people to feel um excluded based on their value. There are some things that are just not going to be acceptable, right? There are some
Right.
things that you're going to say, or some views that you have, that I personally, as a Black woman, as a professional, somebody who also took an oath to uphold the Constitution, I'm just not going to let you be in the space that I've created.
Right.
And it's that person's decision, right? If that's their viewpoint and we don't agree, I'm not dragging you to a bad place because of it, but I also just don't, that energy is interesting. So it's very important to me. I take it into consideration when I'm thinking about streamers that I want to be super supportive of.
Yeah.
Not to say that I exclude people because they're not women or because they're not Black. I have a lot. Oh, this is the worst sentence to say, but I love everybody who streams. But no, I do, and I say this all the time. I'm like, I look for people who look like me, who are having the same, who seem like they may be having the same experience, right? They're playing a cozy game. They may be a
Yes.
woman, or they may be Black, or they may be a Black woman, or they may be a Black man, or they just may be a woman. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go over there and say hi. But
Yeah.
I think there are people who feel like they have to go to war on stream about who they are and their positions that they take, and I'm just learning that that may not be necessarily for me. Now, you catch me off stream and you say, "Oh, Gabby, I wanted to talk about X, Y, and Z," and then we can go there.
Yeah. So, as a streamer, sometimes you have folks that come in. I'm not sure what your experience is with this, but you're, as a woman streamer, as a Black person streamer, as a Black woman streamer, you might have people that come in and feel a certain way, and they want to they might be trying to be malicious, right?
Hmm.
How we might have people that are just starting their streaming journey today, and they happen upon this podcast. How do you make sure you don't become that angry woman, or that angry Black person, or that angry Black woman? How do you in these times, hot button times?
Protect your peace.
Yeah.
How do you protect your
Oh,
peace?
girl,
How
that's
do you
the
protect your
word.
peace? You go with your gut. Things can get lost in context when you're the streamer and there are people typing to you, but trust your gut. And sometimes it may be an overreaction. Maybe you think there's something going on that really isn't, but trust your gut, especially right now. Especially right now for women. Trust your gut. If you're on stream and you're just hanging there and you're minding your own business, you're not even bringing up some of these contentious things that could be going on in the world, and somebody comes in there and they're seemingly, it's just a regular old conversation. Um, I don't know, just trust your gut. A lot of the scum of the earth can't help themselves, and so you'll be able to call it right away. It's
Right.
like, this person is in here, doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm gonna just call it here. I've blocked people immediately based off of their first comment. And I say that to say it's hard when you're first starting, because you want people to come by, you want people to feel welcome, you want to grow this community. There's no value to that community if you don't feel safe there, if you don't feel like you can be yourself. So the vibe this happened very recently. It had nothing to do with um gender or race or anything. It had to do with a very trigger warning situation during Valentine's Day. I don't know if you were in the stream, but there were a lot of people. There were like 30 people in the stream at this time. We're playing Animal Crossing. And this person comes in and is like, this is very much a trigger warning for anybody who has dealt with like suicidal ideation or anything like that. So please protect your peace if you just need to like not listen for 2 seconds.
Yes.
But they came in and were like, "What are you guys doing for Valentine's Day?" Not nobody was talking about Valentine's Day. Like I'm a married, happily married woman, and I still don't, Valentine's Day is like whatever. It is what it is. It was Friday.
Look.
We were like, yes, it's Friday. Like nobody was talking about Valentine's Day. I think I might have said like Happy Palentine's, which is like a new 2025 thing. Like instead of Galentine's, like Palentine's, which is gender inclusive of like
Yes.
dudes and girls and anybody who doesn't subscribe to any of that.
Yeah.
Happy Palentine's.
I like that. Because I felt very
I think
excluded
that's
for
cute.
Galentine's.
I think it's very cute. And I was like, oh my gosh, because it takes a lot for me to feel like I've done something like as an older person that's not hip. And I was like, Galentine's was in my mind, like what we say now.
Yeah.
And the kids are saying Palentine's. And I was like, I love that.
Yes, absolutely.
So this person comes in and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? And I was like, I'm just hanging out with my family. And people in the chat are like, eating pizza or doing whatever. And they're like, well, I'm gonna KILL myself. And I was just like, as bad of a landed joke, when I tell you, Lim, my Discord messages were blowing up from Sapphire, Kiwi, and some other people who were just like, are we supposed to be a place where we help people through that type of stuff, or do we not let it, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I was just like, my gut told me in that instance, for an experience that I had never had before, that this person, even if that was a poorly landed joke,
yeah,
doesn't need to be here. And it was combined with them coming in, following, and two other people all came in and followed at the same time. And they were kind of going back and forth, like kikiing, for lack of a better terms, like joking with each other. And I was letting it go. But I just immediately blocked them. And I'm just like, it didn't feel, I'm a spiritual person as well. I don't know if you guys talk about religion, but I am a Christian. And so those spirits of that type of stuff too, as well, are very important to me to protect people from. But if you're a newbie and you're streaming and you're a woman, or just anybody who's part of a community where, you could be vulnerable to people being on the internet and being idiots, just trust your gut. A lot of times your gut is going to know that this is not right. And the worst case scenario is that you've excluded somebody, but you've protected your space and your energy and your personhood. And so, I'm very trigger happy with the block button. And I know I thought about this a lot, because you have this thing where like when people follow you, you want to make sure that they're not a bot. And I feel that same way, but I also am like, if it's a bot, it's a bot, whatever. At this point, but what I just am so much more like focused on this person, anybody coming in and potentially doing something that shifts the energy or shifts the way that I feel or that way other people feel. And my community is not majority Black women, which is interesting to me, because I'm like, and Peachy and I talk about this all the time. I can't wait to share the podcast with Peachy. I'm like, I'm expecting for, this, oh, wow, there we are. And I mean, I think TikTok is a place where a lot of gamer girls find each other and all of that good stuff. But I think that shows that when you let people bring their, be who they are, give them space to be themselves, also hold your boundaries, that you're going to find more commonalities than differences with people. But it also makes me way more firm with those boundaries. It's like, I'm going to welcome you until it takes so little for you to offend that boundary or to do something that puts me in an unsafe position. And safety is not like spatial. It's like the safety of my mental or emotional, personhood, and other people's safety as well. So just be aware. Your gut is going to tell you. And I've blocked somebody who came back around and through how did I blocked somebody who was literally like they came into the Discord or did somehow got back in contact with me and was like, "Oh, I think that we may have had a misunderstanding." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for blocking you, but you also have to admit, like, if you're giving off that type of energy, you
Yes.
have to know that you're, doing things. Or like if you're coming into one of my favorite streamers is Jupiverse. And they stream Palea all the time. By the way, I am addicted to Palea right now because of you, Limothy. And
Hold on. Just I need to put this out there. So many people are calling me Lemothy these days.
I stole that from somebody in your community who was saying that to
Yeah,
you.
that was probably Arkham. But I got to give props to Sarah Placencia, Sweaty Bestie on Twitch, and Placencia's wife. She was the first one ever to call me Lemothy. And
I love
somehow it got out. And everybody just started calling me Lemothy.
I was like, in my mind, I was only saying that like to you or myself, but I think I said it on stream one time or
Yeah.
said it in chat, and I was like, oops, the girls are gonna take that one and run with it.
So many people. Yeah, no. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't remember what I was gonna say, but it's just Jupy streams Palea and is on the forefront of feeling a certain type of way about what's going on in the world. And somebody comes in with a username that says in that username uses a name that is offensive, not offensive, but it's not objectively offensive, but it's offensive to her because
Right.
that name triggers her. And so she goes and she, goes through and, blocks these people and don't give them a chance. And then their friend come in and they say, "Oh, you shouldn't have. That's just a name. It's just being funny." But I say that to say, like, when we're talking about safety online, we're not talking about the early 2000s safety online and like keeping kids away from nasty people. We're talking about like Jupy cannot. That's an attack on her. That is a mental and emotional attack on her as a person. And so protecting that, and that's all at the forefront, and the mental health aspect and all that stuff. I'm not like a psychologist or sociologist or any of that thing, but I'm keeping myself alive by taking care of my mental health and my personhood, and
You
gaming
gotta do it.
coincides with that. Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. So I not to be super serious, but I just, all of that stuff's important to
The
me.
title of the podcast is On My Own Terms, and if these are your terms that we need to talk about, we on it.
We on it.
That's what we do. I do have to say that in the cozy sphere, I have not found many. I maybe found two, but male presenting POCs.
Well, that's more than I have found. I've only found. Well, when we say people of color, we're including. Okay, yeah. So maybe two or okay,
two or three. But like for me, like one guy, and I could only tell by his voice. But then he ended up telling me, yes, he's a person of color. I can only tell by his voice. And then another guy who came into, we were playing Dreamlight Valley, and a guy came in and he says, "Oh my goodness, another male POC that plays Dreamlight Valley." And I said, "What?" He was like, "Me too." I was like, "Another unicorn!"
Yes.
We found a unicorn. How I struggle with celebrating that.
Because we shouldn't have. It shouldn't be a celebration. You shouldn't be a unicorn.
Right. It shouldn't be. But I find that I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because
you have to until it is normal. People, you have to be the person that people see until it's regular. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like being in a lot of spaces when you know that those people exist. You're not a unicorn in the real world. This is not taken away from your unicorn status.
Right.
It's just that there are other people of color, men, women of color, Black women. Capital B Black is important, by the way, for anybody who's listening who may be a little in between.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a little bit. But um the gamers are out there. They're
Yes.
just seeing somebody who I would love for there to be literally hundreds of thousands of streamers who look like me, look like you, look like X, Y, and Z person.
Yeah.
And until there are, it's just like every other instance in the world where there has to be the ones or the twos who are out there so that people can know. I can see myself as a woman lawyer. I can see myself as a black woman as a lawyer. I can see myself as the almost as the president of the United States almost. I can see myself in these spaces, and so it should be celebrated. It's unfortunate that that it's that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from the fact that we celebrate it though, right? Because we lift each other up so that other people know if they decide to, to be somebody who's on the internet and as they are, that there are going to be people who are going to support them and who are going
Yes.
to lift them up and who are going to, we're not gatekeeping anything. There's
No.
nothing, there's literally, because the next cozy Valkyrie 2.0 person who comes by who has the same exact vibe, who looks exactly like me, God is going to give that person a gift that is unique in its own way, and
Mm-hmm.
there's space for them. So
Yes.
they need people out there have to know that there is space for them, and that they will be celebrated. And we're not going to celebrate them in a way that like, oh my gosh, you should go follow Cozy Valkyrie XOXO just because she's a black girl. No,
Yeah.
you earn it on your merits. Your merits are going
Absolutely.
to be important. You're going to have to be somebody that they enjoy being around. Like, yeah, you look like me. That looking like me is going to give you. I'm going to click on you quicker than I am for X, Y. Me
Right.
personally, I'm going to click on you
And
quicker just to give
I
you a
think that's
chance.
common. I think that's a
Yeah.
common thing. We see it in a lot of the algorithms,
Yep.
right? That's a proven fact.
Yep. And then you earn it on your merits. And
Yeah.
so
Whether I'm going to
I
stick
will.
around is something different.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's important, and one day we won't be able to call you a unicorn, and I can't wait for that day. And
Right.
until then, but it's very much, I will say, when I started looking for people to watch play Dreamlight Valley, because that's how it started. I was playing the game, minding my own business. I spiraled for the first 2 months. Oh my gosh, everybody I talked to about Dreamlight Valley spiraled. I was like hours and hours on that game. And then I was like, oh, where are people? It's like the opposite. Most people found Twitch and streaming and all that in 2020 because they were at home alone. In 2020, I was being a big time lawyer in corporate America. Like, I didn't even know any of this stuff was going to be something important to me. And so, I started looking when I was playing Dreamlight Valley. I'm like, okay, I'm finally at a place where I know that I love this game. I'm emotionally and mentally a little bit better. Let me go find people who are playing it so I can not necessarily learn more about the game, but I just wanted to feel like I was hanging out with other people who were playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, so that's how I found people on YouTube and on Twitch and all of that good stuff. And then I lost my train of thought completely as to why I was talking about how I got to Twitch, um
This is why we call
but
them our
yeah, no,
sclerosis.
yeah, definitely, it's definitely giving ADHD. But no, it's important for you to be in the space. It's important for me to be in the space. It's important for streamers that we love and support to be lifted up and make sure that they know if you have the energy and the space to come back, just keep coming back. And when you start, that's the other thing. Like, nobody's gonna be in your stream. You just have to be able to
Nobody.
just talk.
Here's
I
oh my gosh. I have been streaming for okay, on my own channel for about 7 or 8 years. Um and I recently, in the past 2 years, have had regular, consistent conversation people there when I stream. Yeah, for the longest time, like there's a going joke. There's a reason that there's a redeem up for 1 of 5, or in my stream, because my kids even joke about it. It's like you jump on, you're ready. There's 5 people in your stream. Let's go.
mm-hmm.
All right, and they were, my kids even joke about that. But that was the reality. Like when I got to 5 people, I was like dancing
You're
in
like,
the
let's go.
streets because
Yeah.
when I got affiliate, it was harder to get affiliate than it
Mm.
is right now. This is
Yeah.
the
It's relatively easy because I looked up one day and was like, oh shoot, I didn't know I needed that when
yeah
I wanted to have emotes. That's what it was.
yes
I wanted to put emotes on my channel, and there was somebody who was like, you have to you have to be an affiliate. And I was like, okay. And then like 4 weeks later, it has to be very easy. I think there's like only hours that you have to do.
yeah. It's right now. It's super easy. I don't remember what the requirements were before, but it took me a year to hit them.
Oh
Whatever they were
my.
before, it took me a year to hit
Yeah.
those. Uh, and partner was not, we won't even think about partner. But you guys, I got to say that by the end of 2025, Valk is going to be partner. I
Oh,
called it early. I called it late last year, early this year. Val's
if I
going to
can
be
be
partner.
consistent.
What's that?
If I can be consistent.
I honestly, you have it in you. I have seen the growth, girl,
That
from
yeah, it's
and not
true.
just stream. It's the community growth that I've seen. Right, not just in numbers, but what having just you have this set. This is what my goal is for our community, and I want to
Yeah.
see this. I want to see that, and you're planning it out. This is that lawyer planning out everything. Mom, super mom, grab my cape, Miss Fantastic,
Oh,
Miss Incredible lady going on right now.
yeah, it's just operating in because like I said, I enjoy it as a hobby and I don't want to take the joy away from it for myself.
Yeah.
But it's also like operating in a way that feels fulfilling and exciting. And I realized again, the power of what you say, what you speak into your life is important. And that extends to your hobbies and goals. And if you're streaming for whether it's for your own enjoyment or because you want to be a streamer professionally and you want to make money off of it, speaking life into what you want to happen there. Because yes, this is a hobby for me, but it's a hobby that there are goals that can be associated with it. So why not
Yes.
associate them with it? And the more you speak to it, the the universe has to work in your favor, and in my case God is going to work in your favor to make sure that those things happen. But yeah, I have a lot of goals for the stream, and I would encourage anybody who is a streamer or wants to do it, even if it's just for the fun of it, to set something up. It doesn't have to be a numbers thing. It could be like, I want to, be able to stream for longer than an hour, because that is a hurdle to get over. Is like
Ooh.
being able to, which goes along with, don't stream games just because they're popular and cute. You stream what you enjoy playing,
Yes.
because people are going to know that you're not having fun if you just get onto Hello Kitty because Hello Kitty is freaking hot 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they're going to know that you're not having fun if you're playing Gmite Valley just because you think you want to get into the cozy community. They're going to be able to clock that really quickly. But yeah, you just set yourself up some goals, hold yourself accountable to those goals, find friends who are going to hold you accountable. And those are friends who it's probably not real world people. It's you're
Yep.
going to find more support in people that you didn't know 6 months ago than you are for your friends. The friends that are out there who don't even realize that you've been streaming for a month or whatever.
I'm lucky enough that I have a fair amount of stream friends that are IRL live 10 minutes away from me friends,
I love that for you.
right? Darth Kryptonite, he's been on the show. He like I literally can go on my lunch break and be at his house in 3 minutes.
Love it.
And he works from home, so if we want to take lunch together, we could. Uh, it's it's so helpful because the same thing that we do occasionally and sit and chat about goals and such for stream and everything like that. Um, DK and I will do that, but we'll have an omelet in front of us.
I I support this activity.
Like we'll have omelets in front of us and we'll talk about other stuff. And then we also have because a fair few people in our shared community live in our physical community, we'll do community meetups and we'll all go out to breakfast and we'll all go out for ice cream or something like that. And
that's so fun.
yeah, and I've learned that having the support of those folks as well as having the support of my fam online, being a black cozy male streamer is not the unicorn. That is the unicorn.
That is the unicorn. Yes, very
having
much so.
having that people that know you, like Bill DK knows me, Tom, Gavin Finity knows me. I've known Bill for 20 years. I've known Tom for 10 years. Ryan is literal family, like through marriage,
Mm,
but literal family. Amanda volunteers, Alan Carmen volunteers with the faith based nonprofit that I work with. DJ is part of DK's community, and he's my buddy. Like he look he is a guard dog, and like he's my pit bull. Like he's not. He's like he does not show up in our streams much, but he's my pit bull. He'll be by me. He encourages me. But if someone steps out of line,
I love it.
and so like those, that's what helps me be that unicorn. And Gabby, you were part of that. And I can't wait
Oh,
till I go on vacation to visit my brother or cousins or someone, because you're not too far away. Well, you're far enough away that it'll take you a little bit to get to you from their place, but you're at least drivable distance. And I cannot wait to give you and your hubby and the kids a big old in only
oh, it's
cats
gonna be a
hug.
party. It's gonna be a party.
Because one day we gotta head back down at some point,
Yeah.
and I cannot wait to be able to hang out with you. Uh, if people wanted to find you, where would you say is the best place to start to be a Co's Venture Co's Vengers initiate?
You can find me on Twitch at Cozy Valkyrie XOXO. I'm working on having other socials. Oh, I have a Twitter, but people feel some type of way about that. But
Yeah.
the name is the same on Twitter. Twitter is good for like keeping up with the devs who create games, so that's why I'm on there.
Yes.
And so you can find me there. And I'm working on my other socials. But come by the stream, say hi. You can also catch me in live stream if I'm awake and I'm sitting up. 'Cause the time that live streams is so early for me, but I
You're not
try
the
to
first to say it.
I'm like waking up, or I wake up and I start working, and then I'm like, oh shoot, let me get on here because the dude is gonna be off stream in like 15 minutes by the time I get there. So I'm always hanging around in Limb Stream. I enjoy it over there. I am part of that community, so catch me over there. Say hi.
Oh my gosh. Gabby, every time I get to talk to you, I feel enlightened. I feel a little smarter because you are a brilliant, brilliant young lady.
Oh, stop it! Say more. Say more. Say more. Say more.
But thank you for being here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my gosh! And as they say, what were we talking about?